Hey everybody, it's Kevin and welcome to Kev's Vibe of the Day, where I frame up your day and give you a focus to think on something different than what is going on in the world. Not that you should be disconnected from it, but just to offer a little bit more of a positive, insightful, inspirational, hopefully motivational way to see things, as opposed to being filled with doom and gloom. We can turn ourselves to what we think, what we feel, and be connected to something lighter and brighter. So without a further ado, let's get to the cards and see what they have to say for us today. Now I'm going to continue using the angel prayer oracles from Kyle Gray. I was using the angel guide oracle cards, those with the orange back, but I think sometimes it's good to hear or get a message from an angel or get a prayer. So I switch back and forth depending on what I'm guided to do. And these look like they're the wrong way around. There you go. Okay, let's get centered. Thank you, angels, for revealing to me what I need to know. And thank you for giving me a platform to share your wisdom and your joy. Oops, there you go. One flipped over. Mother Mary flipped over. I'm going to use those as bonus cards. And really, sometimes when they pop up, they're like, okay, there we go. Here we are. We're here to say yes. So it isn't that's so much a jumper. It's just what you're guided to do, what you're guided to say, and they just flip out that way. Okay, now I'm going to place those two beautiful cards up here a little bit. Let's move my crystals out the way. There we go. Move those two there. Okay, are you two going to be like, it's just like their mum and dad looking down. Archangel Metatron clears the vibrational energy that surrounds us and moves us into a place of love, gets rid of the stagnancies and the blockages and all the things that get in our way. And then, of course, the Divine Mother Mary, who is just filled with unconditional love, coming down from heaven and helping to give and receive love that we all deserve. We all really, truly deserve love. And that's really the message I was going to start with today. I was trying to figure out how to frame it. But let's pull a focus. We've got these two as our polar guidance. Let's just pull a focus. I'll work through these cards a little bit. I'm thinking this one is going to be a good one. Move those over there. Okay, so we have you, Metatron. We have you, Mother Mary. And let's just find out what our focus of the day is. Oh, it's really very... This is not a coincidence. This morning I was focusing on creating a sacred geometry pattern to do it's like using crystals to do intentional work. I'm not an expert at it. In fact, I've not ever done one. And I was asking a good friend of mine this weekend how to frame up something in order to bring it to fruition. Sometimes when we have a plan and we want to execute it, the plan becomes a combination of wanting to control the narrative and the way it happens, and we can get caught up in the worry that it won't happen or the worry that it's possibly too good to be true. There's that vortex of contrast where the ego and the mind and the second guessing and the craziness that comes in that is really like static energy. So to clear it, it's time to do the work and create these sacred geometry. They're basically called crystal grids. But in this case, this card, it's a prayer that the angels want us to focus our minds on what is in our heart space. So if you notice this angel with this gorgeous lavender hair and slight pink wings, I just love it, has the 6 colored which I would consider them to be somewhat chakras, but there are 6 colors. There's the aqua at the bottom, and for me they represent the colors of the somewhat archangels. They're tracking a triangular pattern, like you've got the primary colors, but they're not necessarily where they need to be. You have the red at the top, and then the blue over there on the right, and then down the bottom at the position of 7 o'clock you have the yellow, and then you've also got the other colors. So focusing your mind is putting your priorities in order and seeing where you serve yourself the best. Where do you focus your mind where it's not all over the place? There's so much going on in the world. It's difficult to not to be distracted. Especially with our mind all over the place. Like I feel this morning, just even saying this, with these 2 cards popping up and several subjects I want to talk about, nothing is really coming in with laser focus. So we're being encouraged, myself included, to think about what we truly want. What is the intentions, and what are we setting our sights on for the highest good, not just for the highest good of our own self. That's where it starts, but then it radiates out like a ripple to other people. So there's so much going on, it's taken away from where the priorities are. So this card is focus. Let go of the negative thoughts because they're not serving you. It's time to refocus on loving, positive thoughts. Then that also works with, thank you, Metatron, for changing my energy field, which is really these 3 working together. And you see Metatron in his card, in this card, has that sacred geometry pattern. And then, of course, Mother Mary. She also has a halo of stars around her head, really speaking about there's 4 new age chakras. There is Gaia's gateway way down the bottom, and then there is the earth star right up under the feet, and then of course above the head you have the soul star, and then you've got the stellar gateway up towards Father Sky. So the Divine Mother is helping us give gifts and receive love that we all deserve. So in tandem with focusing your energy, bringing Archangel Metatron and Mother Mary in today is a very powerful trilogy of focus. And that brings me beautifully to their confirmation of really what I wanted to talk about. Yesterday, I just don't think that there's an accident that these messages and these focuses come to me, through me, to all of you. So yesterday I was appalled. That's the word. After I had delivered the message that would be stop, hate, meditate, I'm catching these whiffs. I call them a whiff, a waft, whatever you want to call it, wave of news. And they're snippets, headlines, if you will. The heat wave in the West. Not new. It's summertime. Fires in the western part of the world. Not new. Happened before. Leading to climate change. It's not new. We've known about this since Al Gore was doing his movie. Then we shift. Another headline which bothered me more than anything else. There was a football game. It's some European football soccer cup. Italy and England played a phenomenal football match on Sunday night. And through a penalty series, the Italians won. They have to bring a game to a close. Had those players not had the penalty shootout, which is where both teams line up and kick balls into a goal. Had they not had that, that game would have gone on and on and on. One of my other sports that I like is tennis. Some of those matches just go on and on and on. What I got from watching the game was how much teamwork there was, from the team of coaches to the team of the medical folks who go out and help the players who get injured, to the team of players that play on each side, to their adoring fans up in the stands that root for their team. Everywhere seemed to be joyful during the match, playful during the match. And then there is a team that wins and the team that doesn't. It does not mean the team that did not win are losers at all. It does not mean it. And I keep saying this when I'm looking at competition is a good thing if it helps us all to raise our game, lift our levels. That's where it's meant to be used for the best. But we're living in a culture of chaos. I'll say that again. We live in a human culture of chaos. And the folks creating the chaos are the humans themselves. It's got to be difficult. And it is difficult. I think angels up in heaven and the divine are looking at all of us to say, what on earth are you light workers doing? No, they're not saying that. I said that. What are we doing? How is this possible? And yes, I have found myself wondering, what can I do in a world that just seems so fraught with fractions? So the part that got my, or fractious, there you go. The part that got my goat, if you will, was this racial attacks aimed at black players, African American players. 3 of them, I think, and if I'm missing somebody, I'm sorry, were on the England squad. And somehow there was a piece of artwork that has a political statement to it. And I love how the world is free enough, parts of the world are free enough to express themselves and bring attention in a peaceful way through art. They defaced it. Somebody defaced it. I don't really care if they were altered, drunk, high, whatever. They defaced it in the name of hate. So no coincidence I happened to have a platform yesterday, Stop the Hate and Meditate. But this morning, I'm melanating over it. And of course, for me personally, on a personal level, it does bring up how my sexual preference was, of course, of such discrimination and hate. I was sharing it with a good friend at the weekend that in the early 80s, all of a sudden, people decided that the AIDS crisis was a gay problem. And that, you know, hairdressers, which I'm one, that clients should be careful when they go get their hair cut because it was transmitted through supposedly blood. Okay. That was then. We now know better. We now have been educated and we can do better, right? At the time, for someone like myself to delicately meander through friendships where some were not willing to be in the same room, some would not drink from the same glass, I mean, it was just ridiculous. I felt marginalized. I felt discriminated against. I didn't quite know what to do next. And all through it, I had the faith that somehow or another, we would make it through this and it would be all okay. It would be fine. And it has been. Hello, still here. Yet, here we are, 2021, facing a global health crisis. And there are places in the world that still want to smack other people. So I was thinking, well, what is that really truly about? Because honestly, truthfully, hand on heart, I keep saying we come into this world the same way. I mean, not to be too graphic, there's two ways. A doctor either opens up the womb and pulls you out through cesarean, or you swim on through a birth canal. You get here the same way. When a soul enters into a body and comes in and says, this is what here I am, world, taking my place, taking my seat. We should be just as they were, if you believe the stories of the Bible. When Jesus came into the world, people celebrated. Now, I find it interesting. I do find it interesting that as a small child, many of the images that I have of the Lord Jesus, if you will, was a blonde-headed white man with blue eyes. I'm not sure if that's really accurate, but it's quite interesting how we are conditioned in our way of seeing the world. So, pushing forward and back to this one incident where a team of people lost a game, and yet somebody felt like it was the fault of these African American gentlemen or black gentlemen. So then I go deeper into asking my angels and my spirits, well, what is this about? It's the deconstruction of the way the world has been so entitled and selfish and greedy. And so when someone's not getting what they want and they're not getting the result they're looking for, it's either blame somebody else, which is, I think, the reason why so many people are so upset, mad, angry, lashing out, the passive aggression, all of this. Something within them doesn't feel good enough, didn't get what they wanted, and they are behaving badly. Leaders of governments do the same thing. This year of the great reveal is seeing some folks who at one point were revered for being incredible leaders being stripped of their leadership or whatever qualifications they've got because they abused the power. And then I go back into history and I'm looking at, we can go right back to the 1915 to 1920, England had the First World War. Then somehow in the 1920s, when that war was over, there became this opulence. The 20s, the roaring 20s, Gatsby, greed took over. The stock market began to rise, and there was wealthy and privilege going off, selling stocks and bonds, and then wallop. The world imploded in the 30s, and we have the Great Depression with the collapse of the stock market, where things were just got out of hand. The greed had taken over, so it had to stop. And we enter into a Second World War. England started with Germany again, involving the world. And then we get through that after 6 years, and much destruction and a lot of fear. The greatest generation of the world came through that. My parents are children of World War II. The effects of that were they lived and existed and learned to live with what they had, to make do with what they had, to not expect anything more, to not go outside their comfort zone, to understand that this is what it is what it is, accept it. And then we go forward into the late 40s, early 50s, and we have another generation of which I'm part of, the baby boomers, probably likely blamed for everything. And young mums, my mum and others, were like, okay, well, we don't want to have to go back to where we were. We don't want our children to have what we had to deal with. So now things are plentiful again. Industry's working again. Things are happening again. Stuff's work. I mean, we're now going towards manufacturing and business and learning all of those things about how to build back up, to rise back up. Nations became stronger afterwards. So it ended up being a good thing, but people pulled together to make that happen. And then we come into the 70s and the 80s, where it's just freedom of expression. People were allowed to be who they wanted to be. The hippie movement was going on. Sexual revolution was happening. Gay rights was beginning to emerge. We were really clicking along quite nicely. In the 90s, not so bad. Then we end up getting close to the turn of the 21st century. If you remember Y2K and the big scare, which never happened. And we start rattling forward that this idea that fear makes money for people. It generates income. If we can convince you that if you don't do this, buy this, have this, or go here, or do this, or what have you, something terrible is going to happen to you, you do it. Because you believe in trust. And we move with technology. And telephones have cameras. And CCTV. So we've moved away from our ability to instinctively trust one another, hold hands, deal with love, bring forward, help each other. We've moved away from decency. It is get it now or don't get it. We have lost the ability to be loyal to one another. I'm going to go here today, go there tomorrow. Got very flippant and casual with our allegiances. People who own businesses, particularly if they're in those franchise businesses, they're looking to hire warm bodies. They don't even see them as people. Now, I'm not generalizing. Well, maybe I am generalizing. There are some folks who run a private business who are fine, who treat their people incredibly well. And the result is their staff will continue working, doing what they need to do. But in other industries, in big industries, in large corporations, it's not necessarily the case. You know, if we go back 10 or 15 years, everybody wanted to climb that corporate ladder. People were defining themselves by the title on the business card. There were meetings after meetings after meetings after meetings. Everybody wanted to be heard. So where are we right now? We still have an issue with folks who are different than we are. We still have an issue that everyone is supposed to be a certain way based on what? Whose culture? We still have an issue with this mass discrimination going on. No one is we are equal. We are all equal. You know, the difference between a man and a woman is the genitals. That's it. And now we're moving into the fact that if you took that away, which some folks are doing, they're not identifying male or female. They're just saying, I'm a person. See me for who I am, not what you believe is going on without, you know, in the genitals. It doesn't matter. Unless you're going to procreate, unless you're going to enter into a sexual, passionate relationship with somebody, it shouldn't matter. It really should not matter. It should be none of anyone else's business what somebody is or isn't. What bathroom they use, for goodness sake, stop it already. We've lost somewhat. I don't think it's gone completely, but we've lost this moral compass. It's all over the bloody place. We don't know if it's north, south, east, or west. Now, I'm grateful to be of a place where, wow, I've watched this arc go like this, and I know that I'm somewhat at the sunset of my life this time around. I'm sure I came in kicking and screaming, and you all know, if you know me well, I'm going out kicking and screaming. Because this is not right. It's not kind. And yes, I've been guilty of making these wild statements. And I correct myself afterwards, like, well, I don't know that was particularly kind. I went through a period of my life not so long ago, where, you know, my approach was very abrupt. My approach was very tough, and people felt that I was unapproachable. So I had to work to soften all of that. Work to just calm down from all of that. Work out, where did that happen? Where did that come from? And really, what I landed on was, when I have expressed myself in joy and love and happiness and been who I truly am, I've been discriminated against from doing it, told that I was a freak show, or told I shouldn't do it. So I kept it all down, cut in, pushed out. And now I understand it. I understand that when you make these blatant statements, point the finger and blame other people for something that's not going right in your world, not you personally, I don't know you, but people do it. There's just this smacking going on. These nasty attacks, these horrible things that people say to each other. That has to stop. You have to move forward and come to a place of focus your mind on what's important for you. Love. Clearing those lower vibrational energies that are full of stagnant, ratchet energy. If you're not happy about something and you cannot do anything to change it, well then find something else that will make you happy. Don't sit there and blame someone else because you didn't get what you needed. I'm not talking about you personally. If you're listening to this, I'm not accusing you. I'm just trying to bring light to this behavior that I find quite appalling. Seriously. I don't know what I expect. And I don't know what to expect. I certainly don't know what to think. It is quite interesting. What's also interesting is to watch it, the de-escalation of power. It's liberating to see, although not really pleasant for those folks in Cuba that have decided that they have no more confidence in the government to be able to run things. It's interesting to watch it, to see it. The de-escalation of these world powers. The great reveal of what's actually the truth. More of that's happening. And it shouldn't be happening. Well, the de-escalation should be happening. But the fighting and the name calling and the blaming and the finger pointing, no. That has to stop. All right. I think we'll read from Melody Beatty's book. I guess to tie all that up, focus your energy on something positive, something loving, something kind. And when you are witness to something that isn't, which we are, and you feel called to speak out about it, do so in a way that's curious, not in a way that's accusing. I think when we get curious about why somebody says something, why somebody makes a statement about something, I'm curious as to why you feel that way. I'm interested to know a little bit more. And if it's not in alignment with what you think, but yet you're being asked for your opinion, you can simply say, I'm not sharing your opinion, and that's okay. I'm simply choosing this. Have a nice day. Let's see. We are at the 13th. Let the snow. See the snow. Wait. This is odd. See the snow on the desert. Okay. This is Melody Beatty's 1-year journal that she turned into a book. I drove through Arizona's petrified forest, a land where dinosaurs once roamed, then headed across the painted desert. A light dusting of snow covered the sands and the shrubs. I felt both awe and surprise at the scene nature had created. Nature does many things. Tornadoes blow across the land. Hurricanes pound the shores. Bolts of lightning streak through the sky. Dust storms fill the air. Nature petrifies wood, turning trees into beautiful crystal rocks, glowing with brilliant red and orange, fossilized patterns. Nature creates centuries to carve bridges of stone, using only wind and rain and the flow of water from other rocks. And sometimes she puts snow on the desert. Many things happen in our lives, some of them probably consequential. Some of them are flukes, and seem to come out of the blue from nowhere. All the events work in a pattern, helping us create our path through life, create our destiny. Sometimes we're influenced greatly by the traumatic storm. Other times, seemingly chance occurrences can change the entire pattern and course of our lives. We don't have to understand everything. Maybe we aren't supposed to. We don't have to be prepared for the storms. Sometimes the greatest learning occurrences when we're caught off guard by surprise. Weather the storms. Let them pass. Keep your balance as best you're able. Remember to be flexible and sway with the winds like the tall trees in the forest. Trust the flukes too. Those moments when it snows on the desert. Let destiny have its way with you. So that wraps up that 3-card spread. Focus on what you want. Bring in a crystal grid, if you will. Learn those sacred geometry patterns. Lift your vibration up and high. And just pay attention. Things around us are not easy. And thank you for letting me share my little statement there. Now we'll meditate, and we'll start with putting our feet flat on the floor, close the eyes down, big breath in. Release and let go. Follow the pattern of your breath in and out so that you feel it going in and you feel it coming out. Allow this breath to settle your thoughts of your mind and the feelings of your heart to a neutral space. Our mind is pre-wired to follow the neurological pathways of thought, and from thought comes feeling or reaction. Emotions are birthed out of thought, so give yourself time to ride the waves of your breath in and out, and use the depths of your breath, the strength of your breath, to bring in goodness, and exhale out what no longer needs to serve your purpose. Whatever you've spent, whatever you've used, whatever you've done, let go on your exhale breath. And then a simple prayer to bring in your higher guides and angels can be: thank you, angels, for reminding me that you're here. Thank you, guardian angels, for reminding me that you're here. Thank you, spirit guides, ascended masters, and all those that work with the Christed light for being present. Thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for revealing to all of us what we need to know. We're willing to listen and to receive, and so it is. And then just find that space of gratitude, what you're truly grateful for. You're grateful for having the focus, grateful for the higher energies of the universe for transmuting, transforming anything that isn't working towards something that is working. Grateful for this connection with spirit world, with higher intelligence, with divine love. The grateful for having the choice, to being able to choose, or seeing the choice. Grateful for removing the obstacles that stand in the way of love. And just spend time breathing, concentrating on your breath. Opening that space in your heart, the center of your chest, where gratitude lives, your eternal flame. Allow yourself to be surrounded by light, bright white light, and feel it coming from inside your heart, inside your body, radiating up above you, down below you, and out from you in all directions. And as you look out through your mind's eye, and as your thoughts calm down, look towards the distance and see other light surrounding you, coming towards you. These are your angels. You can see them as different spheres of color. In the peace of silence, turn on your clairaudient skills and listen for the voice of messages that come. Just continue breathing in the love and the softness. As your mind wanders off, come back to your hands and your breath, your feet and your body, your physical space where you are right now. Know that it's okay to be distracted. It's even okay to feel sleepy. Allow your mind to relax to the point where you feel as if you're in a wonderful boat, following the current of the stream, lifting your oars out of the water and allowing the current and the rhythm of the water to carry you where you are supposed to be. The ebb and flow of life's course is gentle and powerful. The ebb and flow of the journey of life will lead us exactly where we need to be, exactly when we need to be there. Each and every one of us is perfection unfolding. And continue allowing yourself to be in the power of your breath, with the light your eternal flame, cleansing and healing, being replenished and recharged by source energy high above you, being loved and cared for by the grounding effects of Mother Earth below you. Your spirit guides, your angels and your guardian angels want you to know how proud they are of you. They want you to know they hear you, they see you, they welcome in your request for their help. I invite you now to press pause on this video if you wish to continue meditating. When you feel complete, bring your hands to prayer at the center of your chest. Have a sense of honor, gratitude, grace, that you've accomplished great things in your life and there's more to accomplish. Focus your mind and your attention on living your best life. Lift your thumb knuckles up between your forehead center and together we bow and say namaste. Thank you very much for letting me share my thoughts, feelings, beliefs with you. If you share them, welcome to comment below. And I will look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.